Alright, welcome to a tutorial video guys, and this video I'll be talking about understanding the song structures. This is like a free video lesson, so make the most out of it and let's get started. I'm just going to be sharing my screen and let's go to the first thing which you need to understand. If you want to master the art of DJing, you need to have a certain understanding of certain theoretical concepts. The first thing is, I'm not sure if you might have come across this, but this is pretty commonly known in the scene if you're trying to learn DJing on your own or using tutorial videos, or if under someone, you might probably come across terms like these. First thing you need to understand is every song has different sections in it, and universally there are certain structures, like the way the organization of these sections, right? So there are only certain ways you can make those music, and there's a very limited amount of it. And once you understand that, everything gets easier. The most common and the standard way for making EDM music is this, which I'm pretty sure everyone must have come across or heard these terms called intro, break, build up, and drop. Right? Pretty simple, pretty easy. Also, you also need to understand what an outro is. So, yeah, there goes that. Now, you need to understand that we also follow a structure called 4x4 pattern, which means 4 beats equals to 1 bar and 8 bars equals to 1 phrase in your EDM music, which we consider. In original music, hip hop, pop, anything which is not electronic or club sounding, then those over there, the phrases change from 8 bars to 4 bars, meaning 4 bars is one phrase in original music, and in club kind of music like remixes, EDM music, electronic dance music, typically 8 bars is one phrase, and in techno it is 16 bars is one phrase. Now, in EDM music, in most of your commercial remixes and the music which you play in clubs, these kind of structure or this kind of sections are pretty common. The terminologies might change a little bit once you go to commercial remixes. This is purely from the EDM structure, like big room house, in the back in the day in like 2016, 17s, when Martin Garrix was trending, Afrojack was trending. Even now they're trending, but my taste in music back then were that kind of music. But yes, of course, my taste in music has evolved over time. But yeah, when I started out, I was very much influenced by electronic dance music, and it followed the structure. Pretty standard. Now, again, in EDM, there are only three kind of structures you might most commonly come across when you're understanding music, and when you're trying to DJ. Also, you need to know these sections and understand these sections. So, first structure is pretty simple. We have intro, break, build up, drop. Now, this also comes from the term. Remember, I just told you in the starting we follow 4x4 pattern, right? So the first 4 sections, right? So what are these first 4 sections? Intro, break, build up, drop. Now, what are the second part of the song? Break, build up, drop, and outro. Pretty much like it starts up and down kind of a thing. But yeah, so the 4 first structures over here and the remaining 4. You can also kind of say it's 4x4 pattern, but okay. Now, let's go down. We have structure 2 and 3, which is again, if you take up our classes, I'll explain all of these in much more in depth if you take our courses or classes, whatever it is. But yeah, there's other structures which you might commonly find it in EDM music, which is intro, build up, and then a drop. So over here, the major difference in 1 and 2, 1 and the second structure is we don't have a break immediately. After intro, we directly jump into a build up, then we go into a drop, and then comes a break. And the major difference is we only have one break. Typically, we find 2 breaks in the song, but there's only one break in these kind of structures. These structures do exist, but this is the most common found structure in electronic dance music or any club related genre music. Now we have your, again, this is third one is very, very rare. That is intro, build up, drop, then again a build up, drop, then a break, build up, drop, and outro. This is very rare, but it do exist in music industry. So yeah. Now coming to commercial music. Now when I say commercial remixes and understanding, it can be English remixes, Bollywood remixes, Telugu remixes, Latin remixes, Italian remixes, whatever language, man, Russian, whatever language you can think of, right? Most of them follow a similar structure. Now, before I go ahead over there, we also need to cover some certain parts of it. This is, you need to understand. Now, we understood these are the sections which are there in every song has, right? Now, you also need to understand how long these sections are. Most importantly, you need to understand we don't count or understand the length of these sections in time. We understand it in bars or phrases. Okay, so remember over here 8 bars is one phrase, right? So typically your build-ups, right, the build-up sections of your song are 8 bars. 99% of them are 8 bars. Very rarely you might find a build-up which is for 16 bars, and they are very rare. And then coming to your intros, outros, and drops, they are typically 16 bars. But that doesn't mean it can be longer or shorter. Okay, it can be more, it can be less. It doesn't mean that it's always going to be 16. 16 is standard number, but it can be sometimes more, sometimes less. But typically 16 is the standard number. And yeah, you can, I would suggest you go home, or once you're done watching this video, open your DJ software, load up a track, and try to understand these sections. We will obviously go through, I'll show you a couple of examples how to understand these sections, but this is going to be a rough demonstration. Now, coming to this again, another important thing before I go to the next lesson is this, or the next chapter of this video is breaks. Never try to understand how long the break is. Now, I'm talking this from an experience of more than 15 years. I started understanding music and collecting music since 2010 or 9. So now it is 2015, so almost 15 years of experience. And I started DJing also kind of in my bedroom around 2011 and 10. So I with a software called Virtual DJs. But yeah, so understand this. Breaks, never put your head across trying to understand how long the break is, either in time or either in bars or phrases, because every break is going to be unique. Sometimes it can be 8 bars, sometimes it can be 10 bars, it can be 12 bars, it can be 20 bars. So there's no constant number. So ignore the break, but you need to train your ears to pick up when exactly the build-up's first hit is coming. That build-up is typically your snare roll. I'll play a couple of samples for you to know how it exactly sounds. I have 4 samples loaded up here. This is how typically a snare will sound like. So these are your 3 snare sounds, and you might sometimes also have a clap. Anytime you hear any of these 3 samples, right, the texture, the tonality of might be different, because I have only chose 3 prominent ones which you might find, but there are thousands of snare sounds, and anytime you hear that element which comes in like very aggressively, or no, this is very loud. Yeah, like this, when this comes in and it gets faster. Like it gets faster, right? That is typically when your build-up starts. So go back and try to identify these sections in your own song. Now, let's move to chapter 2 of this video. Now, the chapter 2 is nothing but understanding your commercial music. Oh, shit, okay. Oh my God, I think my control is not working or what? Okay, why is it not zooming in, man? Okay. Okay, let me reload this. Okay. So I usually use Canva and all of... Okay, this is still not loading in. What? Hold on, let me... Okay, I'll just use this feature. This is so annoying. What happened to mine? Oh, my keyboard is... Oh, battery is low. Makes sense. Okay, now coming to this, structures, okay? Now, understanding your commercial music structures is very important, because most of the time when you're DJing... depending on where you're DJing, your venue you're DJing for, and the requirements the venue wants you to play the kind of DJ, or the kind of music you're playing, it might change. So typically commercial music is much accepted and much consumed in every party, more rather than your typical EDM music. The niche for those kind of music is pretty low in actual real time, and if you want to make money out of it in this industry, in DJing, commercial music is the way to go. You can make much more easily money out of it, and you can start earning easily. But if you have your passion for certain niche of music like techno, EDM, big rope, DNB, Afro, anything it can be, you can still make it work. You just have to figure out how to go around and do that. It will take a little bit time, not like year time. It depends on you completely in this industry. So yeah. Now, coming to understanding commercial music song structures, okay? What are the different sections? We'll first focus on these first. Okay, over here I've kept structure 1 and 2 because they are interrelated. There's not much of a change, but we'll go through it. Okay, this is the structure 1. Over here, if you see, we have a similar pattern. Obviously, it starts from an intro, and over here also we follow 4x4 pattern, which is 4 beats is 1 bar and 8 bars is 1 phrase, and then again, you know what happens. Now, over here we have an intro. first thing typically, and then after intro we go into a break. But over here I would not want you to term it as break when you're playing remixes, commercial remixes of any language. I want you to term it as a real term, which is the verse of the song which comes in. Now if you do not understand the term verse, chorus, I would suggest you please go up Google, just use your Google or Chat GPT and try to understand those. And if the best thing what you can do is take your favorite song, a commercial song or a pop song, and then search the name of the song and then the brackets, chorus and verse. So it might show you lyrically, it will show you what is a verse. Oh, so my bad. What's a verse and what's a chorus? Now, coming over here. Now, first we have an intro. Cool. Then we have your first verse of the song. Then we have your build up. Then over here, there now it's a drop after the build up. Obviously, we'll get the drop. That is pretty common and pretty standard. You should get a drop after a build up. If you understand the energy wise in a song as well, the energy is going up. So after going up, it can't again go down to a break. It has to plateau. Like if it, I'm talking in the sense in a graphical term over here, if the energy is going up in the graph, after going up, like if you have done any kind of trading or if you've seen any graph, like it goes up, right? After it goes up, it has to, there's a section which flat lines, right? That's called a plateau section. So the plateau section is typically what your drop is. It can't go down after going up like this. It can't just go down. So the plateau section is your drop. Now this drop is divided into two parts. One is your chorus drop and second is your electronic drop, EDM drop or instrumental drop. Various name meaning the same thing, but yes. Now over here in this structure one, as you're seeing over here, we have intro, verse, build up. First we get a chorus drop, then we get an EDM drop or an instrumental drop. Let's consider it as EDM drop only instead of instrumental drop. Again, might be confusing. So let's call it EDM drop. And then we get your second verse, then your second build up, then again your second chorus drop, then your second drop, and then your outro. That's pretty much it. Now, the why I have mentioned 1 and 2 in one as a one thing, as a pair as a one, is because if you see the structure, intro, verse, build up, we get a drop. But over here, the only difference is first we get an EDM drop, and then we get a chorus drop, and then the verse, then the build up, then the drop, then the chorus drop, then the outro. Right? Pretty standard. Now, structure 3 and 4 is also there. Structure 5 and 6 is also there for commercial music. But I would suggest first understand this. If you understand this, then any kind of structures, it's going to be very easy. And you also need to know how important it is for you to understand a little bit of theory for DJing while you're learning DJing as well. Because theory plays a huge role on how you transition. How your transitions are going to sound is again a different concept. It's all about muscle memory and how you're transitioning. But the point where you're pressing the play of this, like when you press play the second deck or your second track, when you're starting the second track, when the first track is playing, that is important, right? You need to know where to press play. And if you have a little bit of understanding of theory, and if you know a little bit of basic, if you watched any tutorial video online, we know that if I'll go back to lesson 1 for this to refer this. If we go back here, I'll show you how it really looks like mixing points. So if the track 1 is playing, right? So typically what we do, we obviously the first track, we start from your intro, then the break, then the build up. And when the drop comes in, exactly the drop's first beat, we start the second song's intro. The volume is of course down, no one can hear it. You will probably start it in your headphones and beat match it. And when the drop of the first track finishes, that is when you're supposed to go, that is when you're supposed to transition and go from your track 1 to track 2, where you're swapping the breaks, right? That is going to sound harmonically good, because if you go back, okay, I'm going way too in depth over here technically, but okay, let's just do it. If you see the structure over here, what is happening after drop finishes, we are supposed to play the break. Musically, the next section which is supposed to come in the song is break. And when you're DJing also, after the drop finishes, the next section which is musically supposed to come is break. But the only difference is the track 2's break, right? That's it. That is what we generally do. That is how you DJ EDM music. And if you understand this is like your core fundamental concept. If you understand this, and then you have a little bit of, if you do a little bit of ear training and homework of understanding your genre of musics, this might not be relevant for techno, I'm being very honest. This might be relevant for every other genre, DNB, bass music, house music, future bass, any of the other EDM genre. It's very relevant, but for techno it is different. So let's not get over there. Now, to come back over here, when the drop finishes, we start the next break. And now this is going to be playing on in the music. We put down the track 1 volume down, we load the track 3, and when the drop of track 2 comes in, that is when again we do the track 1's intro started, and when the drop finishes, then we do the mixing. Again, now if you've been trying to learn on your own, and if you understood this concept, and if you have your own tracks, and if you're trying to DJ, but if you didn't know that you're supposed to do this, I see a lot of beginners, right? They probably start the next song somewhere like this, or they might start off the song when the build-up comes in, and they do the transition when the drop is supposed to come. They don't play the drop; they directly go to the break of the song. Or what they do, they might either even do this in the middle of the break. They might go into the next song's break. So you see the dissonance, right? It's not musically, it is not making sense. After a break, where the melodic composition or whatever is supposed to be playing, we are again going to the next song's melodic composition, which is not making any sense to anyone. So you have to understand this concept. Now, same thing goes over here in your commercial music as well. Oh wow, it's 15 minutes already. Okay, so if you understand this, you understand pretty much how to DJ, man. And now we look into a real-time examples. I'll take English commercial and Bollywood commercial remixes for this example. Okay, let me just go up. And also, did you guys update for Recordbox 7.1.3? It has this amazing update where it shows you how many tracks are there in that playlist. That's amazing, man. Finally, they've done it. Not that I was expecting it to happen, but yeah, that's pretty cool to know. Where is the student playlist? Oh God, yeah, student stuff, right. So lesson stuff, and let's go with first an English track. Where is the house, tech house? Yeah, tech house. All right, so let's go with Just Can't Get Enough. Okay, right. Is the volume up? Yeah. Now, so as you can see, it starts with an intro. Now, what is an intro? Please look it up online. I'm not going to go more deep into this. Now, always use an intro. And like I said, intros are typically for your 16 bars. So this is your 16 bars of an intro. Exactly after 16 bars, look what happened. I have the bar count accurately done over here. So your lyrics start exactly after 16 bars. Also, let me do this. I think I was using this effect, touch break. Yeah. This is really annoying at this point. Okay. Now, so what we heard over here is, this is the intro, and exactly after 16 bars, the first verse of the song comes in. And also, if you understand, this is kind of taking a break from what it was playing before. It was playing an intro beats, and then it took a break from the intro. So that is called the break of the song. And now we are going more in depth over here. The right term is, of course, the break is the right term, but if you want to be more accurate, this is where your first verse of the song is coming in. Break and verse. Now, of course, this is going to go on, and then we have your build up. You have that snare roll, right? And then now we just have your EDM drop here. There is no lyrical chorus or singing going on. Now, you also need to understand an important concept which I forgot to mention before we finish. Okay, over here again, build-ups are 8 bars. Build-ups are standard, man, 8 bars. Very rarely it's going to be 16 bars. Now, EDM drops in commercial remixes are going to be for 8 bars. Typically 8 bars. Very rarely you might find 16 bars. Now again, genre-wise it changes a little bit, but 8 bars is standard. And then you have intros and outros, which is pretty 16 bars is standard. And then you have your chorus drop. Again, that is 16 bars is standard, but again, it can be less or more. All these references and numbers which I'm giving are standard numbers which are observed in, like, let's say in 100 songs, 90 songs will have probably this. 90 to 95% of the songs will have these kind of numbers or the lengths, which is standard. But again, this is not a mandate that every song is going to be this. Some songs are unique. Every song is unique, but yeah, it might go up and down. Now, come back to here. Now, what we are listening to here is your EDM drop. Now, if you count it here, this is your one drop, bar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So this is your 8th bar. And now, as soon as your 8 bars of your EDM drop finishes, we go into your chorus drop. Now you can see the person is singing, right? Now this is your chorus drop, pretty standard. And now this is for your 16 bars. Now this is all of it for 16 bars. Now over here 16 bars ends, and look how quickly it goes into the next songs. How quickly it goes into the second verse of the song. Right? Pretty standard, pretty soon. And then it goes into a build up again, and then again EDM drop first. Again, don't get confused. This is having a vocal chop playing, like and it only has one word or two words playing Right, just can't get enough. That's it. It's just a wordplay. It's not the whole lyrical lines being sung over there. So don't assume that this is your chorus drop. Chorus drop is where the person is singing. Like now, right, you see this person is singing. So this is your chorus drop. Don't get confused. Some songs will have these vocal kind of a, wordplay kind of thing going on. Especially in your tech house music, it's pretty common. Now, we'll look into one Bollywood music before we finish it off. We'll look into two of the references, okay? Hold on. So, yeah, this is again your intro. 2 phrases of intro. And then 16 bars. And then you get your break and where your verse begins. Now, all of this is your verse. Okay, another important information, which a lot of information being told in this short video. But in this, in breaks, you might get this kind of break beats, or in the verse section of the song, you might get some drum beats going on. Don't assume that's the drop. I see a lot of beginner students and, who are learning on their own, or who take new classes with us. They think this is the drop. No, this is still the verse of the song only. Now we get your build up here. See, I have that snare. How aggressive it is, and it's going to get a build up, and then now this was your EDM drop. Like, this is pretty prominently EDM drop, and then you have your chorus drop, right? Pretty standard. Now, I wanted to show a different song structure, but yeah, let's do this one. Let's go to Kudiye Shadi. We have your intro, 2 phrases of intro, and then 16 bars, and then break. And within that, the first verse comes in. Bollywood songs are so loud. Did you see the difference? I had to reduce the trim over here. The other English remixes are so smooth. Like, the volumes are pretty standard. Now, this is your build-up, and then your... Now, did you observe after the build-up, we are now getting chorus drop first instead of EDM drop. The last two songs which you saw, we were getting EDM drop first, then your chorus drop. But over here, we have your chorus drop first, which is for around 16 bars. Actually, more than 16 bars, let's be honest. Again, in Bollywood, that's the issue, man. Especially in Bollywood remixes, right? What happens is, most of the most of the DJs or artists who remix, right? They don't really follow the structures which they're supposed to follow when they're making music. Sometimes they go half a phrase more, or they might go like, instead of 16, they might go 18 or 20. But again, just understand, this is all of your chorus bars, and use your hotkeys if certain situations are this common. And of course, I would rather suggest you take classes from us, and you would understand a little bit more in depth. But trust me, I'm being really honest. If you understand these concepts, and if you just understand the first the way of DJing, I told you, right? If you do that, and if you watch any of our videos, we are showing you the POV format. Like, you see how I'm mixing. If you see any video where they're showing you the POV, you can mix in and out very smoothly. You can master everything at home. You wouldn't necessarily have to take the classes. Now, this is your chorus drop, and now EDM drop comes in very quickly, right? So we over here we had intro, first verse, over here your build up, and your chorus drop, then your EDM drop, and then your second verse here. Now again, this is your second verse or your second break, but don't get confused just because it has so much energy, because understand this, it has this drum beats going on. Don't get confused that this is the drop. No, this is still your second verse of the song. You're not supposed to have drums over here, but again, understand this. If every music follows the same structure, where in the second break is exactly the replica or exactly the duplicate of your first break is sounding like, it might not be that interesting for DJs to play it on parties, or it might not, people even who are listening to, or people on the dance floor, they might lose interest if it's always like if you take it in a graphical format, like, intro, energy goes down, then a break, energy goes down a little, and then a build up, drop, then again energy goes down in the break, then again a build up, then again a drop. It's very mismatching, especially for commercial music. So most of the time in your second verse, or you're in the second break of these remixes or these songs, you might get some sort of a drum beats going on, sometimes very aggressive like this, sometimes very subtle. So don't get confused and think that is your drop again. No, that is not your drop. Understand what a chorus is, and understand what a verse is. if you don't know what the verse lines are, lyrical lines, what are in the verse and what are in the chorus, look it up Google. It'll make it a much more sense to you. And now again your chorus drop here, and then again EDM drop. Yeah, EDM drop here, and then your outro. And also Bollywood is very notorious, man. They might only give you 8 bars of drop. Over here we only have 8 bars of drop, so just be careful with that. Don't just, you see how many hotkeys I've kept, right? So yeah, that is because yeah, that's again, if you take our classes, I'll explain you how to use your hotkeys and how to understand all of those things. But yeah, it's been 25 minutes already, and I hope this video made a lot of sense. And this is the, I think if you understand this, trust me, your journey for learning DJing going forward will get a lot easier. But again, you have to do the homework of downloading tracks and making sure of understanding these sections. I have given very limited examples over here because of the constraint of time, and I'll make sure I make more of these videos. We'll discuss this more in the future. I'll make more tutorial videos as well. So I'll see you in the next video. And if you want to learn DJing, check out our website, destinyschoolofdj.com. We offer various courses online as well as offline. Offline, we are in Hyderabad, so we'll have to be in Hyderabad. Online, any part of the world, you can take up our classes. And we also have video courses on our website. Do check out, our own. We have created our own video courses from scratch, so specifically tailored for club related kind of DJing. So yeah, just go and check it out. If you are interested, you can subscribe, or you can take up our video course online as well. Now, if you're interested in melodic house and melodic techno kind of music, make sure you check out my own page as well. I go by the alias Distorted Memories. I'm on Spotify, Apple Music. Make sure you check out my own music as well. So I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, and if you like this video, comment a heart symbol or 100 emoji. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.